Hello, ghouls, guys, gals, and any other life forms that may be streaming this broadcast. You are now listening to Storming the Unknown podcast, where we have the paranormal, which includes science standards, mediums, Ouija boards, UFOs, cryptids, serial killers, and dark history, all under one freaky little roof. Come and join myself and special guests such as paratech makers, move on experts, cryptid hunters, and segments of terrifying tales from all around the world. Delve more in depth to these subjects than you ever have before and feast on this smorgasbord of everything supernatural. Join us as we go storming the unknown. Tonight, I have Miss Sarah Streamer on as our special guest. Hello, Miss Sarah.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, trying to keep from going stir crazy with everything that's happening.
Right, I told you I needed this, or else I was literally about 2 more seconds of quiet or just talking to a baby away from insanity. Because sometimes you need grown up conversations and there are no grown ups around. So
Right,
I need to talk something other than baby.
right.
Um,
Completely understandable.
so go ahead and do what we do normally on every show. Just introduce yourself a little bit and then we'll get started while I go ahead and share the link to all of the other websites real quick.
Awesome. So, my name is Sarah Stream. Actually, on my Facebook page, it says Sarah Streamer. And that is because a very good friend of mine in the paranormal community started calling me Streamer one day. So, I was like, well, it sounds good. I might as well stick. So,
I
kind
didn't know that. I actually thought that was your last name. So
of,
we're all learning tonight, guys.
yeah. Um, But I am a paranormal investigator, so I am lead based out of Iowa, and
You're kind
have
of
investigated.
breaking up again. Um,
I know.
the part where Paranormania was what she said is the group that she's the lead of. Um, I think. Let me give 1 second. I'm gonna see if this will help you at all. All right, go ahead. Try again.
Try again.
Yeah.
Okay, so Paranormania is based out of the Midwest. Our home base is Omaha area, and we investigate all over. We've been out to the East Coast and back, so we have big plans this year to go traveling. And then I'm also a part of the Paranormal Research Institute. So we investigate usually Midwest locations, and we bring in a lot of the hardcore science to investigating, which gets a little bit above and beyond just.
Oh, you're cutting out again, and that's like that was going to be my favorite part of what you said because you were getting to the science
Oh
part of it.
no, yeah.
Okay.
I think my Wi-Fi may be like not that great. It's been cutting.
She also just kicked all of the people in her house off of the Wi-Fi right before that. So just so you know, guys, it's
Yeah,
it's not her.
my boyfriend is over tonight, so there are 7 kids here right now, and I think every single one of them is on the device.
Gotta
So
just huddle up. We're gonna
yeah,
play some dominoes real quick, y'all, for the next hour.
you're right.
Uh, but what you were saying about the science part, you're not breaking up now, so go ahead and say
Okay.
that because that's always been a very big interest of mine about what you do.
Yeah, so with the Paranormal Research Institute, we bring in a lot of the scientific research aspect, a um, random number generator when we investigate.
Uh huh.
So we have that running during the investigation, and it's basically like a digital coin flip. So statistically, you should get about 50-50 heads and tails. When that deviates outside that statistical probability, then we try to correlate that with paranormal experiences.
Any type of environmental shifts or fluctuations that you can make sure are not even coincidental at that point. It's
Right,
simultaneous and showing that there is an actual shift and what we can see, like actually not necessarily prove because we don't know why, but we know that it
right,
happens
right.
simultaneously with
Right
it.
now, we're
I
just
love that.
we've just we've proven that there is a correlation. It's not coincidence. But and
Yes.
really, that's where we're at right now. And every time we investigate, we add another layer on. So, you know, like the last investigation I was on, we would radio in every time we would have an experience, and if that correlated within 3 minutes of a random number generator event, it was considered significant. Um, Now we're adding in, is it a positive experience or a negative experience, and how that correlates with the shift in the random number generator. If it's positive of the 50 mark or negative of the 50 mark, if there's any correlation there.
Hmm.
So it's going to be a lot of fun over the next years.
One of the things that I saw recently that you guys did when you were with Richard and a few other people over at the Beller House, you guys used the mini Tesla coils. Now, the Tesla coil theory is one of my favorites because one, Tesla is just the most magnificent, crazy person to have ever existed. And him wanting to communicate with aliens more so than ghosts, but you could still use all of his little theories in the same exact way, pretty much, to try and communicate with something that's not of this world. Now, how do you think using the Tesla coil validates anything, the scientific backing, and why using a Tesla coil can actually help provide irrefutable proof, pretty much?
Well, we were simply using the Tesla coil on that night, just kind of like an EM pump, just to bring
Yeah.
energy to see
Hmm.
if we could get stuff to happen. And we just let it run, and we didn't have anything significant really that happened that night. It was just kind of a fun little experiment. But it's definitely
Does it
that's
affect
kind of
you
a
at
new
all
toy that we were.
being Does it affect you at all, do you feel, being near it for so long and it giving off that much energy?
Um, that night it didn't, but I've been in situations where it has. You start to feel on edge and anxious
Is it
almost.
in the same particular locations that you end up having that feeling, or is it,
I've
do you,
only used it a couple different times, so
okay.
yeah, that it's a fairly new toy. So
I want one of the huge ones. Like, I just want to
maybe
sit, I want a huge one. And when I say huge, I mean huge, guys. Like, absolutely ginormous. Um, so a lot of the stuff that you do with Paranormania, now is it just going, I know you guys have a YouTube channel. I put the link for that up in
mhm.
the top. Uh, but do you have any other things that you guys do? I know that you do tours, correct? At actual different haunted locations, like you'll take groups of people out to
Yeah,
do locations.
we do events. So they're basically a guided paranormal investigation. Um, Most of the time, those are held at the Squirrel Cave Jail in Council Bluffs, and then Malvern Manor. Those are our two big hot spots.
The Squirrel Cage Jail. What has been your, I guess you would say, most significant experience there? Like something that just kind of changed the way you felt about that place.
Well, the very first night we investigated there, we were sitting in one of the cells down in the common area, and we heard like two footprints just walking up. The warden was coming to check on us, and that was probably our most significant experience that first night. Since then, we've gotten some awesome audio evidence, and I've seen some lights, and we've experienced some really cool stuff. But those footsteps were just awesome.
Um, have you guys ever had, when you take groups there, have you ever had it get to a point where it gets kind of negative, or are these all places that you've never really had anything attach or do any type of significant, not necessarily damage, but just be kind of mean or angry in a jail?
Um, at the jail, we've never had. Everything's always been pretty mellow. We've had a few people had some really intense experiences, but it it was more of a personal reaction. They had just, lost somebody really close to them, and they were just having trouble dealing with that. It wasn't necessarily that they got attacked or anything. Um, we haven't had that stuff happen at the jail. Most of the time, if that kind of stuff happens, it's at Malvern.
Is that I've heard about it constantly, but I would not be able to get up there at any point soon. And I want to know if the stories are true about it.
Okay.
So, what can you tell me? That way, it's not, I wouldn't say that you would ever be swayed, but that way we have a clean slate. Nothing is swayed by anything that I say. I want to know if you have the same experiences that I hear that other people have there too.
At Malvern,
Yes. So, what would be your top five most reoccurring experiences, I guess, because that's a thing people consistently experience the same thing over and over again in that place. So, top five things you would say stick out to you most or happen continuously when you're there.
um, I guess I have a really weird relationship with whatever's going on in Malvern. I've spent a lot of time there, and I would actually like that place is almost home to me. The whatever is there is like my family. It's my happy spot. I've had crazy stuff happen to me in the attic. I've been scratched up there. I've been choked up there. I've heard footsteps up there, disembodied voices. A lot of stuff happens in the shadow hallway. Um, I actually um, saw the Shadow Man one night, which was super cool. Um, you
He's
know,
the one that people say they catch on camera all the time or in pictures.
I don't know that he's ever been caught on camera. He's the one that rushes people and they leave.
He rushes them.
Yeah, so down in that hallway, it's a really long hallway, like a nursing home hallway. And in the bedroom, clear at the end of one hallway, there's this shadow man that will come out of the door and turn and just rush you down the hallway, just come straight at you. And a lot of people experience that, and they're not prepared for it. They're new investigators, or it's the first time they've ever done it, or whatever, and they'll only be in Malvern for 30 minutes, and they're like, "Nope, I'm done. Goodbye." Um,
Sounds like a good time to me.
right. But, um, but yeah, I had this long.
I'm sorry, you're
I was
breaking
not
up
afraid of
again.
him. Oh no! Can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good now. It's like it's just a little burst. I'm so sorry. It
No,
never usually does this with StreamYard.
I'm sure it's my Wi-Fi. But I had this theory that I would never get to see him because I wasn't afraid of him. I wanted him to come out and I wanted to experience that. And so I thought that he knew that he wouldn't be able to frighten me away, so he wouldn't put any effort into trying to present himself to me.
Uh huh.
Um, but one night we had an event there with Chuck Banks. I don't know if you know Chuck Banks at
No.
all. Um, he is a medium and psychic, and he has a lot of experiences, and it seems like he brings out experiences. Like more stuff happens when he's around.
Like they're a battery for them to act off of almost. I've found that being around, like if I'm around somebody else who's a medium or whatever you want to call it, who has that thing, I just call it voodoo, but because I don't like the word psychics or mediums, but when you're around people that are like that, it's kind of like you have extra juice.
Yeah,
It's really weird.
it is weird. And that night I experienced like I sat down in the hallway, and I am not a person that taps out. I never tap out ever. I'm like the crazy one that will die first in a horror movie, chasing whatever it is down the hallway, right? And
Same
um,
here, girl.
yeah,
I feel you.
and Rob and I were sitting down in the hallway, and everyone else from the event was kind of chilling in the living room. and we had our DVR cameras running, so they were watching us on the DVR cameras. And I just I saw him like walk across the hallway, and
No, you're cutting out
him
again.
walking across the hallway was blacker than black.
You cut out after I was walking across the hallway. Damn it. Like you get to the juicy part. Every time you get to the juicy part.
But yeah, I saw him walking across the hallway, and it was dark that night. But that shadow figure was darker than dark. Like it was nuts. And um, and after I saw him, Rob didn't see anything, of course, but like we were going back and forth and talking about what we were experiencing, and I had my back to the wall, and I felt like I was standing in front of a doorway. I felt like if I reached behind me, that I was going to reach to the wall. It was the craziest thing ever. And finally, like I knew I wasn't standing in front of a door. And
No.
did we
Don't
cut out for a second?
you? Yes. You can tell by my face every time we do it, huh? That'll
Oh,
be my cue that when you stop talking. If I
okay.
start getting squinty and what'd you say? Just
Yeah, but like it was almost like I felt really vulnerable towards my back, and I shouldn't have because I was standing against the wall. And finally, I told Rob, like, I'm just gonna reach behind me, and if I fall into hell,
just throw in a rope.
right?
We'll try.
And
We'll try, man.
yeah,
Oh, that's funny because I that sensation though, that's weird because I didn't know if that happened to everybody, and there were a few people that I've talked to since I started doing this that say that they have the same thing happen. Like you'll have your back to something, and then all of a sudden it feels like you're just completely wide open for attack or something crazy to happen. Like you don't feel protected anymore. That wall that gives you that security and makes you feel like there's nothing that could come up behind me and do anything, just like goes away in
yep.
an instant. And you think it's such that rush of energy that we get from them then that makes us feel like that. But like there's no space limits. Now I'm getting
I don't
kind
know.
of weird now because Darth
The,
sits behind me.
the only thing that I can explain, like the only way I can explain it, is that I there was a portal that opened up behind me. That's that's the only way that I can put it into words. There was some sort of door that opened up behind me, and like I felt like something was gonna come through and grab my ass. Like, and it's nuts, and I never tap out. And finally, I was just like, Rob, we have to get out of here. Like something bad is going to happen. We need to leave.
See, but at least you know when to call it quits for a good
And
reason,
minutes,
though.
yeah.
Because doing it for safety purposes, I mean, that's that should always be our thing. And I feel like you're like me that I'm like, no, we'll be fine. And it takes something very profound and shaking for us to be like, all right, wrap up. Let's get out of here, guys.
Take a
Let's get
break.
it going.
And really, like all it was a break, because when after that, I was like, we need to leave right now, right? We went out in the living room, and I just took a few deep breaths, and we were only out there for maybe 5 minutes, and I was like, all right, let's go back. Yeah, it was a crazy, crazy night.
uh, then you would really enjoy Goatman's Bridge because if you like thrills, because let me tell you something. I watched Ghost Adventures pretty much like everybody else. So, you know, when they first came out, because it was cool to see people who had that similar interest doing this. And after a while, you learn what is not necessarily real, but what is serious and what is not, you know, or what devices work and what don't by using them yourself instead of just seeing what they use them for on TV and stuff like that. But always calling everything demonic the way that they do drove me absolutely insane and was a huge part of why I, and I'm sure a shit ton of other people, stopped watching it because it was the same thing over and over again constantly. But I was close enough to Goatman's Bridge, which where they had their like a Halloween episode was one of the ones where everybody got possessed and it was super dark and scary. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go and prove you wrong. I'm not wrong very often, but I was wrong. It's not what they say it is. It's definitely
Mhm.
not demonic, but it's evil as shit. And it was brought there because people do satanic worship rituals and rites, and they legit have sigils everywhere underneath this bridge on the pillars. Um, this area was very well known for coach robberies, different types of holdups and everything because it was one of the major trails between Oklahoma and Texas at the time in the early like 1700s. And this place made me leave. My 6'4" brother never go on another investigation with me again. And my co-investigator, who's like 300 pounds and probably like 6'6", like bigger than my brother, be like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to do this anymore." And and I'm going back. So you
Oh
need
boy.
that sounds like a place that you need to go
Heck yeah, I'm always up for an adventure. I love it.
because it's evil, but it's a different type of energy for sure. When you deal with something like powerful like that, that place was, I'm not gonna lie, it was fucking creepy. And there were certain points where I was like, we out in the middle of the woods. It's 40 degrees outside. I'm tired. I'm cold. We should go. And then something big would happen, and I'm like, you sure know how to get me to stay. Let's go back, guys. You
Right?
start walking out from under the bridge, and you hear something like, he's trying to talk, y'all. Let me just go back real quick. Uh, what would you say is the most active location you've ever been?
It's definitely Malvern Manor, just because I've spent so much time there. There's always something happening. It can be 10 o'clock in the morning, and something is going on. There are footsteps, there are voices, there are doors opening and closing, lights going on and off. It doesn't matter. It's just nuts there. I love it.
Um, do you find that that's part of why you're drawn back? Is it that energy that they always give you that makes you always want to go back, or is it the energy that you leave with when, if you know what I mean? Like, there are certain places where I feel like when I leave, and what you describe as the ones that are like home, that constantly call you back, that always you always feel like it's a part of you, kind of. Um, when I leave that location, what that location is for me, I always feel like I leave with an energy from there, almost.
Yeah, I, Malvern definitely calls me. Like I travel a lot for work just in the area, and I'll be driving by Malvern and drive past the turn and be like, man, I really want to go and just say hi. I'm working, I
Yeah.
can't. Um, but I've heard other people even describe it. My good friend Richard Estet, he was driving in mine, and he said he got halfway through Nebraska here, and he was like, "Shit, I need to go to Malvern. I need to be there right now." And so, like, he called me and he's like, "Meet me there." So, like, I met him there. It was like a Friday afternoon, so Josh had us the tour. We just showed up.
Oh.
It's almost like it calls back the people who are able to tell the stories,
Hmm.
if that makes sense.
Oh, I completely understand.
Yeah.
They love their voices
Hmm.
being heard, whether, and it doesn't even have to be an actual voice that you ended up capturing. It's the things that they do, the things that happen when you're there. I completely understand. It's like they know that they're using you as a platform,
Right.
and it's weird, but it's awesome at the same time.
Right.
Fred said, Fred said, he bum rushed Johnny Hauser. I'm assuming he's talking about the entity that you were talking about at Malvern Manor. That
That's the Shadow Man.
the
The Shadow Man is not a big fan of Johnny Hauser.
really the bearded. I call him the bearded badass. Uh, the the promo I used for him when he was going to be on my show before I canceled it when I got pregnant um, was the one, that picture. I know you had to have seen it, of him in the turncoat with the American flag and like a bald eagle in the background.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I used of him. So he's a bird arrows. So why doesn't he like Johnny?
I
That's an
don't
interesting.
know. There are a lot of theories that Malvern and Velisca are connected somehow
Mm.
because nothing has ever been proven. So when I start spouting off a bunch of this stuff, don't take it as like the Bible.
No, but I would love to hear it. I want to hear the
Malvern was
back.
open. Yeah, Malvern was open as a hotel, a working hotel, when the Velisca axe murders happened, and they're both on the same railroad line. They're about 45 minutes away from each other. So there's this theory that the murderers stayed in Malvern either the night before or the night after, or both. Like stayed there the night before, went to Velisca, committed the murders, came back, stayed in the hotel again, and then hit the rails. You
Which,
know,
because he was just supposed to be a transient, just
right?
going through town, correct? The
Yeah.
gentleman who committed it.
So
That's
it kind of makes
very interesting.
uh,
Especially because back then it's not like you had like 10 chains of Marriott's and 5 chains of
right,
Holiday Inn Express right next to each other. You didn't
right,
really have choices.
and the fact that everything was
Oh, hey, you break it up again.
and go to
Ah,
whatever time you want.
you're breaking up again. You broke up for that
I'm
last part.
sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, but everything was connected by railroad back then. So, you could just jump on a train and hop off wherever and do your thing and leave.
Um, and so it's like playing Red Dead Redemption. No, I'm just kidding. But I mean, it kind of is. But
Kind of, yeah, with an axe.
um, yeah, with an axe. That is one of your weapon choices. I'm just saying, you want to go old school.
Oh, is it? Maybe I
Yeah.
should never played that game.
Oh, it's the best. I still do it all the time. Like I'll have the baby in my hands, just be like clomp, clomp, clomp through town. I'm like, go shoot these sheriffs right quick and get my bounty. Uh, One of the places that I wanted to ask you about was, have you ever, or the Beller House? Had you ever been there aside from when you last went, or was that your first visit there?
That was my first visit there.
What did you think of that location?
That it was nuts. It Okay. So, I told you that Malvern was my favorite location and the most active location I've ever been to.
Mhm.
The Bel Air House is right up there with Malvern as far as crazy activity.
And you've only been there once, so
I've only
that's
been there
saying
once.
that's
Yeah.
saying something
I
for.
I will say we did stay there for 3 whole days. Like we slept in the house and we're there for 3 days. But it was just crazy. There were footsteps and noises and doors opening up. I don't know if you saw my post about the back door being
Yeah,
open.
and
That
everybody was like, the fuck?
exactly. And like the house itself is not
Ah, you're breaking up.
very. You cut out again, didn't you?
Yep. Always the
Okay,
juicy parts. I swear, I'm telling you, it's
I'm
just
sorry.
you. You brought your juju, and now whenever you try and tell the real stories, they're like, silent, Sarah.
Well, the house itself is not in a very good part of town, so whenever we would leave the ground floor, we always checked all the exterior doors to make sure they were locked, just because we didn't want somebody coming in, right? I personally checked that door and it was locked when we went upstairs. And we went upstairs and investigated for a little while. We were up there for maybe 45 minutes and we weren't getting very much. And so we were like, all right, well, let's take a break. And I came back down the stairs first and it was really cold. And I was like, what the hell? It feels like a door is open. And I looked around the corner and the door was standing wide open. And I was like,
Oh no! Oh no! It's happening again.
dang it. Well,
We're
so I came
trying, folks. Bear
right.
with us.
I came down the stairs and the door was open. I was like, holy shit, there's a crackhead in the house now. And and so I yelled at Richard and Wes and they came down and Richard is he's a paramedic and ex-military and Wes is a corrections officer. So both of them like Like,
Went into action mode.
yeah, they were like total tactical. They cleared the house from the basement to the attic. They took off every curtain under every pillow, like everything. It was crazy.
That's funny because I can imagine that scenario actually,
Yeah.
like playing
And,
out them like with flashlights, like going around the corner, like what?
yeah.
What?
And yelling, they were yelling, like, you have one chance to get out of the house.
Oh man, it's funny that you
And,
say that because
and
like
nobody was in there.
what most people think of like paranormal investigating, like is kind of like what you see on TV, and a lot of it's just making sure that there are no crackheads sneaking into the locations
Right.
you're locked down in overnight.
You can never be too safe.
Never. And it's funny that you say that because when I was in Oklahoma doing the Broken Bow Asylum, it's this old hospital. It used to be a hospital, a school, um, a home for wayward kids, a nursing home, all this different stuff. And now it's only open as a haunted house during
Mhm.
October. And this place is huge, but they only use one side of it. The other side is like completely just in complete disrepair. There's shit everywhere. It's horrible. And they're these old ass windows that don't really have security locks. So the guy that owns the place, while we're going through, he's like, "Hold on, let's just check the other side of the building real quick." And I'm talking, this is like in Broken Bow, Oklahoma, like Hochtown. He even tells me beforehand, "There's lots of drugs in this area, just so you know. Make sure you have something on you." So I had a switchblade attached to my little rubber band thing on my wrist that I could just like, I'll cut a bitch if I need to. Now he comes through and pulls out his pistol and just like bam, just like walking around like he's playing Call of Duty, and I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, nope, we seriously have to look for crackheads and anybody else who may have broken in just to stay the night. And I was like, oh, okay, camera rolling. Let's do this. If I find something good for cops.
Right?
He pulled out his gun, and I was like, oh, so he's serious, serious. Okay. With my little switchblade on my wrist, like I'm finna do anything with this man with his big old pistol. He whipped it out, and it was so Oklahoma. I was like, I love this shit. It's sketchy, but I love it. Darren has a question. He said, have you tried any new experiments lately?
Any new experience lately? We did actually at the Bel Air house. Um, I like to use the pendulum a lot. So we were doing a pendulum session and we decided to do a blind pendulum session, which I had never done before. So that was kind of interesting. Um, at first, we put on noise canceling headphones and a blindfold, but I didn't feel like I could, like, my balance was so far gone. I felt like my hands were moving. Like, I couldn't feel like I was holding still enough for the pendulum to work. So,
Yeah. You was just all thrown off because your senses is out of whack.
right, right,
Your equilibrium got thrown
right.
off. Oh no. Oh
Just the
no.
noise canceling headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did we cut out again?
It picked up on noise canceling headphones, which is where we were
Oh,
anyway. So you're good.
yeah. So we ended up just using the noise canceling headphones and taking off the blindfold, so I could still see the pendulum, but I couldn't hear the questions they were asking.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get very good results with it. It's definitely an experiment that we're going to try again because and and I don't know if that plays into the way that the pendulums actually work. Like
You need all of your senses for it to
like right.
balance
So
properly.
I don't know if like if I need to hear the question for them to manipulate my energy to move the pendulum.
Gotcha.
But when I had the noise canceling headphones on and I couldn't hear the questions they were asking, we were just getting random. There was no.
You're cutting out again. It happened again.
Yeah.
Um, Darren also asked, what would you be doing differently if you weren't into the paranormal?
If I wasn't into the paranormal, I would be a sad, sad person. I don't know.
She could totally be a photographer.
I could. Yeah, that's my other.
Her
That's my other.
photography is amazing.
Yeah, I love to take fun pictures. A lot of my friends, they're in my mom. She's like, but you take all your pictures are so dark and creepy, and I'm like, I know, aren't they great? And she's like, no.
I love them.
But the
That's
funny
funny
thing is,
that you
like,
said dark and creepy because I'm always like, that's so beautiful.
right, right. I love abandoned houses and schools. I've been to 9 different abandoned cut out again.
Yes. I swear it's you. You brought your
I'm
ghost
sorry.
juju up on my show,
It's my
and I was
grandma.
like,
But
But
yeah,
you've been to 12 schools.
I've been to 9 different abandoned schools in the state of Iowa.
Hmm.
There are a lot of them since they consolidated school districts. You know, however many 20 years ago they would consolidate, and so they're just these old schoolhouses and really teeny tiny little towns that are just sitting empty and abandoned. And I'll just go drive around and find one and take pictures. It's fun.
Um, do you ever any like when you go out to do all of your photography stuff, like the abandoned buildings, whatever? Do you ever end up having experiences in places where you weren't expecting to have an experience?
No, I haven't really cut out again, didn't we? Uh, I haven't really had any paranormal experiences except for at Farrar, which is known to be a haunted location. Um, but usually when I'm out taking photographs of a place, I'm in and out within 30 minutes
So
usually.
it's not like a
Right.
extended stay. See, I'd probably sit down and have a picnic.
Well, so a lot of the places I go into, don't tell anyone this, but they don't really let people know that I'm there. So I just drive by and I'll pull off into a field entrance and park my car and walk up walk up the road.
This is her pleading the fifth. She don't know nothing about nothing, and I'm her witness.
So, I usually don't spend a whole lot of time in those places.
Now for the cows come, huh? Darren said that's Iowa internet. So,
Yes.
um, he also has another question. Do you feel you get more activity when you're on Facebook Live versus not being on?
Actually, no. I think that if we're on Facebook Live, that is just another distraction for us because we're like trying to talk to people and
Mm-hmm.
answer questions, and so we're not 100% into our investigation.
Um, See, and I have to counter with that because I completely agree. Like when I'm just doing my personal stuff, like I don't do that. But when I do the lives for the American Ghost Hunter show,
Mm-hmm.
certain locations when they have a crowd, like these energies will interact more. It's kind of weird. Like they know that they're being watched or that they have energy on them, like that much focused energy on them. So like Alex will be reading the comments and stuff like, does anybody want to ask a question? And so I'll ask it out loud and we get the responses from that. And I'm like, that shit,
That's super cool.
yeah. But like you said, the one thing I caught while I was on Facebook Live, and this was just doing a wrap up. Like I usually just do it when I'm doing the history parts of the documentaries and stuff, and I go live from the actual locations. Like when I did Bonnie and Clyde, I did Mont Canfield's Cafe, and I went there live when I got there, and then at the end of like the 12-hour investigation I did in that place. So I'm walking around, and I turn the camera back on me, and I'm walking away from this area that I just walked to because I had heard something coming from it, and all of a sudden you see, I shit you not, this the weirdest looking like shadow thing just come from the area I just come from and sweep up and go like right behind me, and you can see it like clear as day, just and it's not the fan's shadow. It's we couldn't recreate it at all, and it just went, and I was like, motherfucker, you just showed up on live because you thought I wasn't watching you because you don't know about reverse cameras. Like, they don't know about our newfangled technology. So he didn't know he was in selfie mode and he caught himself. I was like, oh shit, that was cool. And, of course it's live, so I didn't know that it happened. But apparently, right after that is when I turned the camera back to that area because I'm like, I swear I just heard somebody walk right there. And it's when the shadow crosses back behind me, and I'm like, you fucker, you showed up on Facebook Live because you didn't know. Like,
That's
well, we
awesome.
trick them. We could trick them. They don't know nothing,
Yeah,
especially the older ones.
that's awesome.
Um, she wants to know, Catherine wants to know where you are from, where we're from.
Um, Catherine, I am from Western Iowa, so I live right on the border by Council Bluffs, Omaha.
She lives in Iowa as well. Or she's from Louisiana and she lives in Iowa. How funny is that? I'm from Louisiana and you live in Iowa, but she's from Louisiana and lives in Iowa now. Weird.
That is
Uh, yeah, I'm from Louisiana, but I live in Texas now. Let's see. I'm gonna see if I caught up with everything in chat because we've been going for a minute. Hello, everybody watching. Sorry if I have not kept up or did not see you. We appreciate you watching tonight. Uh,
I
what's
saw
a
Fred in earlier.
who?
Fred,
Fred? Yeah.
love you, buddy.
Um, he said the sweetest thing about you earlier. I'll read it to you. Boop, boop. Sarah is one of the most intelligent investigators I have met. I am always bouncing ideas off of her, and the team are always cutting edge with the science of paranormal investigating. Wish I had them brains.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
He is. He's the sweetest. He's the best. Um, he loves the fox, by the way, Uncle Fred. He'd be snuggle with that fox every night, and he tries to eat it now too because he's teething. So that fox is coming in handy. The first time he did it though, he had it was fur, so it's fuzz in his mouth, and he went like, I don't know if I like that, but then he's like, but it's helping my teeth, so I'm gonna keep gnawing on it. But the fur freaked him out at first. It was pretty funny. Um, what's the farthest that you traveled from Iowa? I know a lot of the places that you go are in state, which I mean it's easier for everybody
Right.
when we do this because it's all out of pocket. So staying in state, if you can, why not? But what's the farthest you've ever traveled to investigate a location?
I love to travel. The farthest we've ever gone is out to New York and Pennsylvania. We went to, um, where do we go? Gettysburg, Penhurst, Wildwood Sanitarium, and Hinsdale House all in a week.
What?
Yep,
How
that was
did you keep
fascinating.
up with that energy like that? Because I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but every time after I investigate the energy pool from locations, I mean, you need recuperate. Like I need to plug myself in like a battery and recuperate. How do you
It
do
was a
that many
really
locations back
long
to back?
week. Yeah, we rented a car, and we drove out there and did um, let's see, like Saturday, Sunday, we did Gettysburg. We didn't get to investigate Gettysburg. We just did like the tourist thing. We cut out for a second.
Just the
Um,
tourist part,
yeah,
just for the last part.
yeah. So we didn't get to investigate Gettysburg because we don't really do that out there very often. We did Penhurst on Tuesday night. No, Monday night. We did Hinsdale and Wildwood Wednesday, Thursday night, and then drove home.
Oh my goodness, you're
Mhm.
crazy. Did you get anything at any of those locations
Oh yeah,
though?
we had a lot of interactions, and um, we actually got communication from one of the entities that I interact with quite often at Malvern was in Penhurst talking to us.
Really?
So that was really cool.
Do you think they? That's I could pick your brain about that. What do you think about spirits when they follow us? Like what people would see in TV or movies and stuff like that. You would think that a ghost has to be anchored to a certain location, or there has to be a reason why they would stay in a certain location, can they leave? You know, that's a big question. Can they just willingly go wherever they want, or do they need somebody to carry their energy for them somewhere? What's your belief on that?
I think that I think that certain entities can travel freely. Um, I think, and I think some of it is just them knowing that they can. I know there are some spirits that believe they're trapped in a location because of whatever happened, so they don't think they can leave.
Hmm.
But I think if they knew they could leave, they could probably just go do whatever they wanted to.
Yeah.
But this particular guy, he's I've interacted with him in Malvern quite often. He's kind of turned into my little stalker guy. Um, I've interacted with him at the stroke so yeah, it's fun.
Um, has he ever done anything like creepy to you? He sounds like a creeper, but is he
Mm,
actually like creepy?
yeah, kinda.
What's the creepiest thing he's ever done to you?
Um, like I like to hang out in the attic a lot at Malvern, and he just like watches me.
He just watches you like, you taste it.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
look- you look like you'd be good with some of them French fried taters. Oh man, that's funny. Have you ever been groped by a ghost? That's the like that's legit the creepiest thing because like you can't ask for consent first and foremost because you a ghost. But
Right.
like, don't be touching up. I've been touched, pushed, scratched, lots of stuff like physically, but nothing is ever as uncomfortable as when you get groped by a ghost because it's like that's a sneak attack. That's a for
I've
real
never
sneak
been
attack.
groped by a ghost. I have been choked by a ghost. I just
Poked?
choked.
Oh, choked. Oh Lord, where were
Yeah,
you choked at?
in the attic at Malvern.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
See, and you're crazy because you keep going back. And let me ask you this because everybody thinks I'm crazy too because I'm going back to Goatman's Bridge. Why do you go back? I know why I go back. Let the people know why you go back to places that even though you have those negative experiences, you still just you want answers and you
I
gotta
want more.
yes, you gotta get to the bottom of it. Like I wanna know everything.
I
And
I used to tell people that like I think that part of my
part of me
the
ah
whatever I think part of my brain is broken. Whatever that fear center is that's in your brain that
the
you're
fight
supposed
or flight response,
yes,
I mine's turned off. I don't
mm,
do neither. I sit there and I'm like, what's up?
right, let's go look at it. Like did you hear that noise down the hallway? Let's go. Yeah,
Absolutely.
but I don't even know if it's that, but I think that my curiosity overrides my fear, is what happens. I want to know what's going on, and I want to know why, and I want to know how, and that is way more important to me than if I'm gonna die.
See, and that's why you and I are more likely to be abducted than anyone else because we'd be like, "Oh, did you see that? Did you see that shiny light? Let's go
Yeah.
investigate." That's why we'd be abducted. I'll see you in the spaceship, girl.
Okay.
See, I don't think you're crazy though. That's exactly how I am. I just want answers. Like I just want to know, and if something happens, it happens. Like that's the risk we take going out there. But there are more than
Right.
anything. Now that I do it by myself, I don't have to worry about other people. Like when I left Goatman's the first time, it was because of the way that I was feeling towards my brother and the other investigator. Like it was making me like turn on them. And I was like, nope, it's not safe for you guys anymore. That's the only reason I would call it off because other people weren't safe. Now if it's just me, I'm like, hell yeah, yeehaw.
Hmm.
Nope. And I can't do that anymore because I got the baby. And so even my fiance's like, are you really going to go back to Goatman? Do you remember what happened last time you came back from that place? And I was like, yeah, but I know how to handle myself better now and I know exactly what I'm dealing with, so I'll be fine. But a little part of me might be like, is this really a good idea? But I'm still going to do it. Darren said, so when you go on an investigation with your regular energy because they feed off of that, now when you go to an investigation with an energy drink or bar to higher your energy, do you think you would get more reactions?
I I don't think so. Not for me personally, anyway. I mean, I just need the sugar to stay awake for 15 hours or whatever, 48 hours, whatever it ends up being.
Yeah, it's not the caffeine is the part that I need. I don't need the extra energy pretty much because I'm already like very woo. Let's go. All right.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I go in guns blazing. I'm like, hey, the party's here. But if I were to ever be quiet, that's when you know something's wrong with me.
Oh,
That's
really?
what. Oh yeah. If we're on investigations and when I have other people with me, if I'm quiet for like 2 minutes, they're like, "Are you okay?" They know something's like affecting me, or I'm like starting to channel something. They're like, "Oh, so, something's happening to her because she actually is not talking right now." I'm always going.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know necessarily that adds anything. I know the state of mind that we're in when we go
Oh,
into
yeah, definitely.
investigations definitely causes a spike in the activity that we get. But that's for anybody, not even just investigators, people living in their own homes who could be living side by side with something for years and it never show itself until, you have a shift of energy in that place or, somebody going through some type of sickness, turmoil, anything traumatic and it start ramping up what they can do. Um, but yeah, I don't think necessarily energy bars and things like that. I mean, if it does completely change your personality, then maybe. Like, those people who look like they're about to fall asleep and then they drink like a monster and they're like, woo, let's get it, Kyle. Like, yeet. Those types of people, maybe. Um, okay, so before we go, because we did it, is there anything else that you want to talk about? The science part we didn't really get into too much, but that'll be like a whole nother chapter that you and I do on the next one because
Yeah.
there's so much to get into with that. I know you have your photography, the YouTube channel.
Mhm.
All of the links are in the comments, guys, so you can go ahead and look. The very beginning is where I put everything before we started, just to make sure that everything was there. Um, Make sure you're following Paranormania on the Facebook page, on their YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Paranormania Official. It's not just Paranormania. You guys can also follow her photography on her personal page. I put a link to that in there too, I think. Um, let's see. No, I did not put that in there. Hold on 1 second. But it's going to be Instagram stuff. So these are her Instagram handles. Is there anything else? Any other links? I asked you earlier, but are you sure there's nothing else you want me to
My
add about it?
my photography Facebook page is just Sarah String Photography. So if anybody wants to check that out,
Gotcha, girl.
up there. Um, I am working on putting together a calendar of haunted locations for this 2021. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be so much fun. I need to start like getting everything all. I have plenty of time now because I'm just sitting in my
We're,
house for like 4 weeks.
we're
So,
quarantined. It's funny that he said you were gonna do that though, because right before I came in here, I was watching my forensic files. And my fiance's like, "You're so weird." I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Because you're watching your murder mystery show right before you go do your spooky ghost talk show. You're just, you're just a real creepy person." I was like, "That hurts." He was like, "No, it's like in a funny way. You're crazy. Is that better?" I'm like,
no, not really.
"No, but whatever." Uh, so I feel good that I'm not crazy. We just like dark shit, man.
Right.
There's
So,
nothing wrong with it.
so my kids, they don't like to come into my bedroom. We're in my bedroom right now, but my kids don't like to come into my bedroom because I have a lot of like weird stuff in here. So, like for my day job, I'm a dental professional. So I work in dentistry, and I love the lab part of it. And Johnny Hauser one day at Malvern brought over a bunch of crap that he was going to auction off, right? and I saw you cut out, so I paused.
Yeah.
He had he had 3 dental models that had been just sitting in the closet at Belisca for like 20 something years. And I was like, I flipped out. I was like, oh my God, teeth, right? Watch.
She said teeth. I mean, I see a flayed human body behind you.
These are my Belisca axe murder teeth.
See, that's awesome. I would use those
Right?
in a D&D campaign.
Yeah.
It's like a
Super
mimic
cool,
box.
right? My kids think they're creepy, so they don't come out. Yeah, and then I collect old medical stuff. Jason Faust from Heartland Paranormal got me this old anatomy chart, so it's
See,
awesome. I
but
love it.
you're great for being that weird. I would love to investigate with you. We'd get into some really weird
Yep.
shit. Um, okay, guys. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know that we have a lot more to touch base on, but we will go ahead and do that at a later date. We'll do just like a completely scientific show. I have like a whole week set up for that, so I'd like to reschedule you again
Yeah,
when I have Brandon Alvis on from Ghost Hunters talking about scientific theory and everything in the field. But we got to the good stuff tonight. We got to the core, who you are. um, I just wanted to go ahead and do the announcement real quick before we get off. Um, I am no longer going to be with RU Media Network anymore. I'm just moving to a different channel. There's nothing wrong. We're not beefing. We're not squabbing. Love them. Make sure you continue to watch the Cryptic Paranormal Show with Goose Gooseby. You catch Our Haunted Minds with Eric McGill and David Woolover. That series they put together was actually pretty awesome. They did one in Madison Seminaries for their first episode, and it was very well done. Make sure you check out John Ward's Sleepless in Salamanca. They have that out on Amazon Prime right now. Haunting in Hartford, Joe Vitale has that out right now with a bunch of other people. I think you can get that on Amazon as well. Check out Sean Gilmore's Into the Abyss podcast with Zarina and Russ and Sandy, of course, with HE Paratalk. Um, you can now catch my show live on Paranormal Warehouse on Mondays instead, and I'll keep you guys up to date with the time on that one. But from now on, all the shows are going to be on permanentwarehouse.com instead of this channel. So I'll update the schedules and everything, but we're still going to have all the same guests. I have Matthew Fuel and Casey Boatwright coming to talk about their new documentary. That's something you guys got to watch out for. Um, the baby's up and he's crying. Oh,
oh no.
but his daddy's got him. He's okay. Um, yeah, quarantine's been nice. We get to take turns. Um, Let me see if I have it real quick. Give you guys the rundown. Uh, I have Aaron G. Thompson coming on next week on March 30th. Matthew and Casey from Gateway Paranormal Society with their new Voices for A Voice for the Silence on April 6th. Then I have Shay Carroll from Paranormal Buzz Radio here on April 13th. On April 20th, I have Kenny Irish and Gary Robusto from the New York Bigfoot Society, which we get to talk about Bigfoot. Yeah. On May 11th, I have Rick Schreck from House of Shrek and the creator of Ouijazilla. And May 18th, I have Curtis Miller, who is a guide at Edinburgh Manor. And then Brandon Alvis from Ghost Hunters on May 14th. So I'll be hitting you up for another May interview. Chickadee.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome possum. All right, guys. So, again, thank you guys so much for always tuning in. Catch next Monday. Remember on paranormalwarehouse.com. Keep up with all of the stuff on RU Media Network, all of the different shows that they have here. You can find everything on YouTube, Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, and iHeartMedia Radio. And remember, if you want to discover the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. And you guys have a wonderful night.
Bye.